Hello and welcome. I'm Aidan, and I'll be your narrator for tonight. Before we begin, I'd like you to find a comfortable place where you can truly relax. Whether you're lying in bed or snuggling up with a blanket, take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Feel the weight of the day start to melt away. With each breath, you are letting go of any worries, any thoughts that might be lingering in your mind. Tonight's story is a special one, a journey into the world of dreams. The kind of dreams where anything is possible, where the impossible becomes real, and where magic surrounds you like a warm embrace. But before we begin, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you listening from? And what time is it as you settle in to hear this story? We'd also love to know what kinds of stories you'd enjoy next. Your thoughts and suggestions inspire us, so please share them in the comments below. Oh, and I wanted to share an important update with you. Currently, only 5.5% of our viewers are subscribed to the channel, which means 94.5% of you haven't subscribed yet. If you've been enjoying our bedtime stories, subscribing is a simple and free way to support us. At the moment, we aim to remove all mid-roll ads from our videos to provide a seamless and uninterrupted viewing experience. Unfortunately, we are unable to do so because we have not yet reached the threshold required to gain control over ad placements. Reaching 1,000 subscribers will allow us to remove all mid-roll ads, ensuring a completely uninterrupted and relaxing experience for you. Your support means the world to us, and together, we can make Terranash an even more peaceful place for storytelling. If you'd like even more from Terranash, you can check out our Patreon for early access to all our stories and a curated Spotify playlist to accompany your journey to relaxation. So, as we begin our adventure, let yourself drift further into a calm and restful place. The story will guide you, but your own imagination will take you even farther. Let go of the day and allow yourself to float into the story with a peaceful heart and an open mind. Let's begin, and may your dreams be as wonderful as the journey ahead. Ella's 8th birthday was a quiet celebration at her grandmother's cozy cottage nestled on the edge of the forest. After the candles were blown out and the cake was cut, her grandmother handed her a small box wrapped in faded blue paper. Inside was a dreamcatcher, its delicate threads glinting in the sunlight and beads shimmering like tiny stars. "This isn't just any dreamcatcher," her grandmother said with a mysterious smile. "This one holds magic. Hang it above your bed, and it will guide you to dreams you never thought possible." Ella thanked her grandmother, although she wasn't sure what to believe. That night, as the moonlight bathed her room, she hung the dreamcatcher by her bed and drifted to sleep. As her eyes closed, she felt a strange warmth envelop her. When she opened them again, she wasn't in her room, but standing on a soft, glowing cloud. The sky around her was a tapestry of stars, and far in the distance were floating islands bathed in golden light. A faint voice called her name, beckoning her to explore. Ella hesitated for a moment before a soft breeze lifted her off the cloud, carrying her gently toward the floating islands. As she approached, the islands revealed lush gardens, crystalline streams, and creatures she'd never seen before. Deer with silver antlers, glowing butterflies, and a towering eagle perched on the highest peak. "Welcome, Ella," the eagle greeted her in a deep, resonant voice. "This is the Sky Kingdom, a place only dreamers can visit. Why have you come?" Ella looked around in awe. "I don't know," she admitted. "I just ended up here." The eagle chuckled, its feathers shimmering in the starlight. "Perhaps you're here to learn. Come with me." Ella followed the eagle as it soared over the kingdom. They landed on a cloud bridge that connected the islands, and the eagle gestured to the world below. "What do you see?" Ella squinted, trying to make sense of the shapes far beneath her. Mountains, rivers, forests, everything looked so small. Exactly, the eagle said. Perspective is a powerful thing. From here you can see how everything connects. Remember this view when you face challenges. Step back, and the answers may become clearer. As the sun began to rise, the eagle plucked a golden feather from its wing and handed it to her. Take this. It will remind you to soar above your doubts. Ella clutched the feather tightly, a warm glow filling her chest. The next thing she knew, she was back in her room, the dreamcatcher swaying gently in the morning breeze. The following night, Ella eagerly lay in bed, her dreamcatcher hanging above her. As her eyes fluttered shut, she felt the now familiar warmth pulling her into another dream. When she opened her eyes, she found herself underwater, surrounded by a world of vibrant colors. Coral reefs shimmered in shades of gold and pink, and schools of fish darted past like streaks of light. She realized she could breathe effortlessly, her hair floating around her like a halo. A group of mermaids swam toward her, their laughter like the tinkling of bells. One of them, with silver scales and long, flowing hair, introduced herself as Maris. "Welcome, Ella. We've been expecting you," Maris said, her voice kind and melodic. "Expecting me?" Ella asked, bewildered. "There's a treasure hidden in our kingdom," Maris explained. "It can only be found by someone with a pure heart. Will you help us?" Ella nodded, intrigued. The mermaids guided her to a shimmering grotto where the walls sparkled with tiny crystals. At its center lay a pedestal with a golden shell, inscribed with a riddle. To find the treasure, look not with your eyes, but with your heart. The light you seek shines within the darkest part. Ella pondered the words, her mind racing. She noticed a shadowy cave at the far end of the grotto, its entrance foreboding and unlit. Summoning her courage, she swam inside. As the darkness closed around her, she felt a faint pulse in her chest. Her heart seemed to guide her, and soon she spotted a small pearl glowing softly in the gloom. When she touched it, the pearl shone brightly, illuminating the entire cave. Maris and the other mermaids appeared, their faces alight with joy. "You found it!" Maris exclaimed. "This pearl represents belief in oneself. Keep it close, and it will remind you of your inner light." Ella held the pearl tightly as the underwater world faded. She woke up in her bed, the dreamcatcher swinging gently, and the memory of her adventure lingering in her heart. The next night, Ella found herself standing at the entrance of an enormous labyrinth. Its high stone walls seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. A sign near the entrance read, "Only the brave and clever will find the way." Ella took a deep breath and stepped inside. The air was cool and damp, and the sound of her footsteps echoed eerily. The paths twisted and turned unpredictably, some leading to dead ends and others looping back to where she had started. As frustration began to set in, a small fox with fiery orange fur appeared, its eyes glinting mischievously. "Lost, are we?" it asked. Ella nodded. "Do you know the way out?" The fox grinned. "I might, but this labyrinth isn't about finding the way out. It's about finding the way forward. Let me show you a trick." The fox darted ahead, weaving through the maze. Ella followed, watching how it moved swiftly and instinctively. When they reached a fork in the path, the fox stopped. "Close your eyes," the fox said. "Don't think too hard. Trust what feels right." Ella hesitated, but did as the fox suggested. She focused on her instincts and chose the left path. To her surprise, the walls began to shift and open up, revealing a hidden corridor. "You're learning," the fox said approvingly. After what felt like hours, they reached the center of the labyrinth. A crystal key rested on a pedestal, glowing faintly. "This key unlocks possibilities. the fox explained. It reminds you to trust yourself when the path ahead seems unclear. Ella took the key, feeling a surge of confidence. The labyrinth faded, and she woke up in her bed, the key's glow seemingly reflected in the morning sunlight. On the fifth night, Ella found herself standing in a sprawling garden bathed in golden sunlight. The garden was both beautiful and wild, with blooming flowers and towering hedges, but some parts were overgrown with vines and weeds. Birds chirped from the treetops, but there was an air of sadness hanging over the place. At the heart of the garden, Ella saw a young woman kneeling by a flower bed. Her hands were covered in soil, and her brow was furrowed with frustration. Despite her efforts, the plants around her drooped, their petals dull and lifeless. "Are you okay?" Ella asked, stepping closer. The woman looked up, startled. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice filled with weariness. "I'm Ella," she replied. "What's wrong with your garden?" The woman sighed. "This garden used to be vibrant, full of life, but I've lost my touch. No matter what I do, nothing grows the way it should." Ella knelt beside her, observing the neglected patches of the garden. "Maybe it's not just about hard work," she suggested. "Maybe the plants need something else, like care and patience." The woman looked skeptical, but followed Ella as she gently cleared the weeds and loosened the soil. They worked together, watering the roots carefully and speaking softly to the plants. To their amazement, the flowers began to bloom, their colors returning in vibrant bursts. "You see," Ella said with a smile, "sometimes all it takes is a little encouragement." The woman smiled for the first time. "You've reminded me of the power of nurturing, Ella. Take this." She handed Ella a tiny seed, its surface shimmering like gold. "This is a seed of infinite possibilities. Plant it in your heart, and it will help you grow in ways you never imagined." Ella thanked her and woke up with the seed still vivid in her mind, feeling a sense of renewal and creativity. That night, Ella's dreams took on a different tone. Instead of the vibrant and magical landscape she had grown accustomed to, she found herself in a dimly lit forest. The trees loomed tall, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of footsteps. Her own, or so she thought. She stopped abruptly when she noticed a dark figure emerging from the shadows. It was tall and featureless, its presence both unsettling and oddly familiar. "Ella," the figure said in a low, echoing voice. "You've been exploring these dreams, but have you ever wondered what they cost?" "What do you mean?" Ella asked, her voice trembling. "Every adventure comes with a price," the figure replied. "And this dreamcatcher, how do you know it's helping you and not taking something from you?" Ella clutched her golden feather and pearl, her heart pounding. "It's helping me grow," she said firmly. The shadow laughed softly. "Or so it seems. Be careful, Ella. Not everything is as it appears." Before she could respond, the figure dissolved into the darkness, leaving her alone. Ella felt a chill run through her as the forest faded and she woke up in her bed. The dreamcatcher swayed gently in the morning light, but for the first time, she felt a flicker of doubt about its magic. Despite the shadow's warning, Ella resolved to uncover the truth about her dreams and the purpose of the dreamcatcher. She clung to her treasures, the feather, the pearl, the key, and the seed, knowing they held the answers she sought. The next night, Ella found herself in a place unlike any she had seen before. She stood in a vast, star-studded void where threads of light stretched endlessly in every direction. Each thread seemed alive, pulsating with color and energy. In the center of this dazzling expanse sat a figure, weaving the threads into intricate patterns. The figure looked up as Ella approached. It was an elderly woman with shimmering silver hair and eyes that sparkled like the night sky. Her hands moved with practiced grace, weaving the threads into a circular design that reminded Ella of her dreamcatcher. "Ella," the woman greeted warmly, "I've been waiting for you. I am the Dreamweaver." "Are you the one who made my dreamcatcher?" Ella asked. The weaver nodded. "I create dreamcatchers for those ready to explore the depths of their imagination. Each thread represents a lesson, a challenge, or a discovery in your dreams." Ella hesitated, the shadow's warning fresh in her mind. "But is it safe? I met someone who said there's a cost to all of this." The weaver's expression softened. "That shadow you met is part of you, Ella. It's your doubt and fear, always questioning your path. Facing it is not a cost, but an opportunity to grow stronger. The treasures you've collected, the feather, the pearl, the key, and the seed, are reflections of your courage and wisdom. They will help you." Ella felt a mixture of relief and determination. "How do I defeat the shadow?" "You don't defeat it," the weaver said. "You embrace it. Shadows exist where there is light. Strengthen your light, and the shadow will diminish." The weaver handed Ella a spool of silver thread. "Weave this into your dreamcatcher. It will fortify your dreams and give you the courage to face what lies ahead." Ella took the thread and wove it carefully into her dreamcatcher. As the last knot was tied, the dreamcatcher glowed with a brilliant silver light. She woke up with a sense of readiness for whatever the next dream would bring. That night, Ella felt the familiar warmth of her dreamcatcher guiding her into sleep. This time she found herself in a barren grey landscape. The air was thick with tension, and the ground cracked beneath her feet. The shadowy figure appeared again, larger and more imposing than before. Its voice boomed around her. "You've returned, but this time you won't escape so easily. Are you ready to face the truth?" Ella stood tall, clutching her treasures. "I'm not afraid of you," she said firmly. The shadow laughed, a cold and hollow sound. "You think your trinkets will save you? You are nothing without them." Ella closed her eyes, remembering the lessons from her dreams. The golden feather reminded her of perspective, the pearl of her inner light, the key of trust in herself, and the seed of endless potential. Slowly, she realized the treasures weren't just objects. They were part of her. "I don't need to defeat you," Ella said, her voice steady. "You're part of me, and I accept that, but I won't let you control me." The shadow began to shrink, its dark edges softening. It no longer looked menacing, but instead like a reflection of Ella herself. "You're stronger than I thought," it said quietly before fading away into a gentle breeze. The barren landscape transformed into a vibrant meadow filled with blooming flowers and golden light. Ella felt an overwhelming sense of peace as she realized she had faced her fears and emerged stronger. When she woke up, her dreamcatcher shone with a soft, steady glow. Ella smiled, knowing she was ready for whatever dreams or challenges lay ahead. The following night, Ella felt a different pull as she drifted into sleep. This time, her dreamcatcher shimmered brightly, and a portal of swirling colours opened before her. Stepping through, she found herself in a grand hall with high, arching ceilings that seemed to touch the stars. The walls were covered in intricate carvings of all her past adventures. The Sky Kingdom, the Mermaid's Grotto, the Labyrinth, the Forgotten Garden, and even the moment she confronted the shadow. Each carving glowed faintly, as if alive with the magic of her dreams. At the center of the hall stood a pedestal on which rested a glowing orb. As Ella approached, The orb flickered and revealed a vision, a vast and beautiful world filled with countless pathways leading to unexplored places. A voice echoed through the hall, soft and soothing. "Ella, you have walked the paths of courage, wisdom, and imagination. The treasures you carry are not just mementos, they are keys to unlocking the full potential of your dreams. Now, you must choose your path forward." The golden feather, pearl, key, and seed floated into the air, surrounding the orb. Each treasure glowed brightly, and the paths in the vision seemed to shift and multiply, offering infinite possibilities. "Your choice will define how you continue to grow," the voice said. Ella hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I don't want to choose just one path. I want to keep exploring, learning, and growing." The treasures shimmered in response, merging into a single beam of light that enveloped the orb. The vision expanded, revealing not just paths, but entire galaxies filled with wonders yet to be discovered. "Then your journey is limitless, Ella," the voice replied. "Take the orb and step into the next chapter of your dreams." Ella reached out and touched the orb, feeling a surge of warmth and energy. The world around her dissolved into a cascade of light, and she felt herself being drawn into the vast expanse of possibilities. Ella woke up feeling different, stronger, lighter, and more at peace. The treasures from her dreams were no longer physical objects, but part of her, woven into the fabric of who she was. She looked at her dreamcatcher, now radiating a soft glow, and realized it had transformed as well. Its threads shimmered with silver and gold, and its beads sparkled like tiny stars. It wasn't just a guide to her dreams anymore. It was a reminder of the strength and wisdom she carried within. From that day forward, Ella approached life with the same wonder and courage she had in her dreams. She no longer feared challenges, knowing they were opportunities to grow. Every night, she looked forward to hanging her dream catcher and stepping into new adventures, ready to learn and explore. But more importantly, Ella understood that the magic wasn't just in the dream catcher. It was in her. It had always been in her. And so, Ella's journey continued, not just in her dreams, but in every moment she lived, proving that the line between dreams and reality is only as thin as our imagination allows it to be.